We're back at the Longhorn 500 and problems for Buddy Lazier. He got sideways coming out of the pits in turn 1.
The radio transmission from Lazier to his crew was the fact that he got into the back end of Robbie, and that could only be either Robbie Unser or Robbie McGee. A tough break for Lazier as all of the cars on the lead lap came down for service, even though we're a little early at lap 28.
Lazier was running in 10th position. He had climbed himself nicely through the field as the yellow's out. Now let's watch the pit stop as they go to work right here, Jack. At the top is your race leader. In the middle is Dismore, who's in 2nd, and Greg Ray in 3rd.
Ari, everybody thinks that at this point in time a driver gets to rest, but he's pretty busy while his crew does this choreographed ballet.
Oh, he has to be really careful. He has to keep the engine running, keep his eye on the crew, make sure that when they're finished he can go. Although they give him the signal, he still has to look out himself.
Now, Greg Ray looked to me like he might have been just a little slow coming back up to speed. That could signal to me that maybe he's in a different gear selection. Here's Buddy Lazier going around under caution right into the back end of Robbie Unser. So we've discerned which Unser it was.
And that really tells you that you always have to pay attention, even under a slow pace behind the pace car yellow. A lot of times you'll see guys run into and over each other during the yellow because it kind of, you know, you hear the harmonica effect.
Yeah. So here is your new leader, and it looks like
That's
it
right.
would be Steve Knapp in the ISM Delco Remy machine.
But look at Greg Ray in 11th. Greg Ray lost out to Schmidt, Dismore, Ward, Cheever, Goodyear, Carlson, and Sharp in the pits.
All right, we're under yellow at the Longhorn 500 after 30 laps, and we'll be back with more wheel-to-wheel battle. Hope you'll stay with us.
Beechler has now gone from last to first.
The Big Daddy's machine is hooked up. As we mentioned, he did not pit. He takes over the lead right now as we come around to the start-finish line, 35 laps complete. And Donnie Beechler has taken over the race lead. Unser is 2nd. Let's go to Vince Welch for an update on a tire situation. Vince?
Well, it's a problem right now. Teams with the Goodyears are struggling. Davey Hamilton, Billy Boat, Kenny Breck, Mark Dismore, Scott Sharp, they've all experienced problems with blisters on the right rear. I talked to the Kelly Racing team. They said they're going to change tire pressure and hope that that relieves some of the problem, but we'll keep an eye on it. Obviously, a big story as this race is still in the early stages.
And that is a big story because all those guys are on Goodyear tires, and you have to believe that it's going to be a Firestone race tonight, considering the problems that all those fast guys are having with their Goodyears.
Now here you're going to get a look, fellas. Donnie Beechler out front did not pit. He's running on worn tire. The fellow running behind him, Robbie Unser, didn't pit either. But then directly behind them, Sharp, Cheever, Carlson, all of those fellas pitted, and all right, they've got brand new tires.
Yeah, but they also have a lot of fuel, and those guys up front don't have that fuel in the car, so they're lighter. They should be a little bit quicker, but it's really the fuel windows between 40 and 48. These guys have to pit pretty soon.
Well, don't forget they did have some caution laps, and you can go from 2.5 miles to the gallon to as much as 5 to 6 to 8 miles to the gallon, so that would move it to about lap 60 or so they could go.
And just a short while ago, Buddy Lazier had some problems. Calvin Fish has an update.
Well, Buddy has been struggling early. He also had blistering problems on the right rear, and then when he was out there on track, he came together with Unser. They came in, changed the nose cone, so they did the complete change. They took the old one off, put the new one on, and he did go a lap down.
Lazier running in 24th position. We look back up front where Donnie Beechler in the middle of traffic trying to hang along, and they touch wheels back there.
The Pennzoil Panther machine for Scott Goodyear. You can see the kickback on the steering wheel when you go over. We say it's tabletop smooth, but it's a rough ride.
Bumpy. It's pretty bumpy in between 1 and 2, and also there's a bump in 3 and 4 these days.
The man he's challenging on the inside. Now, that's the Yahoo machine number 21 of Jeff Ward, and that is a battle for position.
And up front, the leader, there he is, Donnie Beechler. Kenny Breck trying to battle in there as well. Robbie Unser's battling as well, yeah. And Scott Sharp is 3rd. Cheever in 4th. Cheever in 4th right now. Beechler running at 211 miles an hour on this 1.5-mile racetrack. There you see that purple car, the new sponsorship, Harris. On Billy Boat's machine, a 3-year deal. I know A.J. Foyt's a happy man.
But I'll tell you, the man that's got to be happy right now is Larry Cahill with the Big Daddy's machine with young Donnie Beechler. He's only got 11 career starts, and this is just his 2nd year in the IRL, and he is out front leading the Longhorn 500. That's pretty impressive.
And Billy Boat is just doing everything he can to keep him behind because he wants to stay ahead of the pack in case there's another yellow.
Oh, Tice Carlson and Greg Ray touched wheels earlier.
You want to talk about close quarters racing? Hello.
That was amazing that they actually kept going. And Tice got a little squirty there, but the wheels almost were interlocked, and it was, boy.
I thought you had to have fenders to do that.
Well, you know, racing's rubbing in Texas, at least when they run the NASCAR cars here.
Yeah, but you can't do that with these cars because it will be lethal. Billy Boat, see, is doing everything he can just to hold off Donnie right there. He's going to make his car as wide as possible for the next couple of laps.
Scott Goodyear and Robbie McGee. Goodyear going downstairs in the yellow Pennzoil car. This is the battle for 7th position. McGee, the rookie of the year at the Indy 500. And here we can get a look at just what the draft is like. He got out of the throttle just a second. Not really. It was a case where the revs do drop as we look at the Pennzoil onboard telemetry.
Yeah, it sounded like he did get out of the revs, but let's just have a look here. See, he's out of the throttle a little bit. And that just tells me that he's not really happy. But Scott Goodyear is also on Goodyear tires. We don't know what his situation is.
213 miles an hour. Beautiful evening for racing here in Texas. A crowd of 90,000 plus on hand tonight. Donnie Beechler is your leader. 45 laps completed so far.
Beechler was the Springfield track champion in sprint cars in 1993, and he's quite a character. Diminutive in size, but very loquacious. You engage him in a conversation, and he'll tell you everything you need to know about auto racing and about his life.
What was that $10 word you had there? Loquacious?
I'll tell you later. Let's
battle for fourth place. Sharp is in 4th. Greg Ray is in 5th.
Scott Sharp is having problems. Scott Sharp was really close to the guys up front there. Right now, Scott Sharp is falling back. That number 8 car, as we see it, is getting in the way of traffic behind. He has a major problem, and I can expect Scott Sharp to come back in the pits here pretty soon.
You'd have to imagine, as we watch the Pennzoil telemetry and looking at the vibration of the camera and listening to the engine, this man has got a problem. And generally, Ari, that kind of a vibration means?
That could be a tire problem right there.
Coming down now.
We're watching him come into the pits. The 8 car, Delphi, after a frustrating Indy 500. He's back in the pits here.
Brand new engineer, Will Moody, who's reunited. And all of a sudden, the Delphi automotive team, their hopes and aspirations looked as if they're diminishing quickly.
Let's go down to Vince Welch as Tice Carlson's in the pits. Vince.
Tice Carlson was running so well early on, but they've developed a problem. There was some smoke coming out of the back, and now they've shut the car off. So significant problems now for Tice Carlson as they let the car off the jack, and they're going to have to take off the rear cowling.
Kenny Bragg is back in the pits.
Yeah, both of A.J. Foyt's cars have been back to the pit area. Billy Boat was in. Now we watch what's happening now with Kenny Bragg as their crew goes to work on that 14 machine.
It looks like these guys are going to have a lot more pit stops than everybody else and change tires every 20 laps. And that's so frustrating for a driver because every time you're the leader in the pits.
Calvin Fish is there. Calvin?
Donnie brings it to a stop. The crew, led by Gilbert Les, will be working on the right front, go to work. This is going to cost them a lot of track position under green flag conditions. It looks like a routine stop. And no
Billy
problem.
Boat.
I believe there's a problem on the track, guys.
Oh, Billy Boat
smoking, and now we've got a car spinning in the oil coming in on turn 2. Billy Boat blew the engine coming out of turn 4, smoked it all the way around to turn 2. Another car got in the oil, got slippery, and kept it together, but Billy Boat, his day is done.
There was Billy Boat actually spinning on his own oil, almost.
Now, there was another car right behind him, too, that got a little fishtail working, too.
That will get your attention at 200 miles per hour plus. It did for Mark Dismore, but he did battle back, as we alluded to, and won the pole position. Boat won't have that opportunity. Gentlemen, look who is now leading the Longhorn 500. He told us at Indy that he would. Eddie Cheever in the Children's Beverage Group, number 51, is now leading, and he said with infinity power, we'll do it in Texas.
52 laps completed here at the Longhorn 500. We'll have more action coming your way here on Fox Sports Net. Stay with us.